Little Women tells the story of the four young March sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, who are growing up in America during the Civil War. The story details their transition into adulthood across several years through multiple significant events in their lives. They face many troubles, including ones pertaining to money, love, and their relationship with each other. So, I went into this film almost completely blind, knowing next to nothing about Little Women. I have not read Louisa May Alcott's book, nor have I seen any of the various film adaptations. But the all-star cast was enough to pique my interest and get me to the theater. And I'm so glad it did, because Little Women is a treasure of a picture. Again, I'm not familiar with any version of this story, which means I might give credit to something that's been done before in another iteration. So keep that in mind. Greta Gerwig made her official directorial debut with 2017's Lady Bird to universal acclaim. For me, I think it's a strong film, but I'm not as high on it as most people. However, after seeing her latest movie, I think Gerwig shows just how capable she is behind the camera. She had me from the very first shot, which is of the protagonist Jo waiting outside the door. Even without knowing anything about this property, I knew everything I needed to about the character and her current situation just by the framing. What she was doing, why she was there, what she was feeling, all of it. To say I was impressed would be an understatement. And it doesn't stop there, because Gerwig also uses a framing device that, to my knowledge, is not featured in any of the other films. The story takes place in two different time periods, one in the past and the other 7 years later. The 2019 version intercuts between the two as they occur simultaneously, a feature that it shares with none of the other adaptations. So we'll spend some time in one timeline, and then we'll flip over to the other one at appropriate moments. It's a great storytelling device that skillfully illustrates the growth of the four sisters and how certain circumstances line up across the 7-year divide. There's also the added touch of tinting the two settings differently, with the past receiving a golden sun-like tone to indicate the warmth and innocence of childhood, and the present being bathed in blues and grays that convey the difficulty of adulthood. It's a subtle technique that brilliantly functions as both a way for the audience to distinguish the time periods and a way to communicate a message. While we're on the subject, I might as well mention Yorick Lasso's immaculate cinematography. He's able to generate a wonderful amount of spirit and charm simply through his camera work. The way he mirrors certain shots across the two timelines can be very emotional and poignant, and because the movie was shot on 35mm film, it's gorgeous to look at. Although it doesn't feature bombastic action scenes or large-scale set pieces, Little Women is certainly worth seeing on the big screen for its beauty alone. And that's not a knock against the story, which I became fully wrapped up in. Each of the March sisters has unique aspirations and goals, and they're all artistically inclined. But it's the interaction of their different personalities that's the key ingredient here. For instance, we have the daring Jo, who likes to take chances and is passionate about her writing, frequently butting heads with the youngest of the family, Amy, who is very outspoken and impulsive. But as they grow older, we see their dynamic change gradually. These relationships and developments between all the characters are the heart of the story, and Gerwig captures that splendidly. Speaking of the sisters, let's talk about all the incredible actors involved in this feature. Saoirse Ronan leads the cast as Jo, and she gives a remarkable performance. Ronan commands the screen every time she's on it, and her ability to get lost in a character is on full display. However, it's Florence Pugh who's the scene stealer here, playing the immature Amy. This role really allows Pugh to flex her comedic muscles, and is yet another example of her powerful talent. Emma Watson, following a cinematic slump as of late, proves that given the right project, she can work wonders, giving her best performance in years. Eliza Scanlon portrays Beth, the quiet piano-playing sister. You don't see much of her character for the first portion of the film, which feeds into Beth's shy nature, but as time passes, you'll find that she grows on you more and more, and Scanlon uses physical acting expertly to leave an impression. We also have Timothée Chalamet in the role of Laurie, and I am convinced that this character was specifically written with him in mind, because this was perfect casting. Chalamet employs his signature charisma to magnificent effect, and his chemistry with Ronan and the other actresses is superb. Then of course there's Laura Dern as the mother of these 4 siblings, and Meryl Streep as their aunt. Both are great, with Dern adding a sweet air to the film, and Streep, with her limited screen time, being a good source of comedic relief and wisdom. Little Women is a lovely motion picture about 4 young ladies maturing and learning about themselves. There's no big plot, no villain, nothing like that. It's just how life affects these characters and seeing how they grow in response to these experiences. The film is well crafted, very witty, entirely captivating, and a delight to watch. I was already planning on going back and seeing all the other versions, but after viewing this one, I'm even more excited to do it. It's an absolute crime that it isn't getting more awards recognition. Don't miss this film, because it's an endearing, heartfelt movie that anybody can enjoy. I give Little Women an A. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you liked the video, then please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for similar content, because that would really help me out. You can also follow me on Twitter at MiamiMovieMan, and if you want to keep up with what I'm watching, then go ahead and look me up on Letterboxd as well. I'm the Miami Movie Man, and I'll see you in the next video.